Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into something really cool, a powerful way to absolutely smash through writer's block. And we're going to do it by borrowing a tool from a place you might not expect, solo role-playing games. So if you've ever wished you had a creative partner on call 24/7, you are in exactly the right place. Oh man, we have all been there, right? You're staring at that blinking cursor, that bright white empty page, and it just feels like this impossible wall. It doesn't matter if you're writing a novel or just trying to get a scene started, that blank page can be one of the most frustrating things for any creator. So let's talk about that challenge head on. We're going to explore a method that completely flips the script, turning that blank page from something you dread into a real opportunity. I mean, think about it. What if the answer isn't just gritting your teeth and trying to force the words out? What if you had a collaborator, a creative partner who never runs out of ideas, never gets tired, and whose only job is to get your imagination fired up? Okay, so let's get into it. The tool we're talking about is the Mythic system. Now, it was originally made for playing role-playing games by yourself, but writers have discovered it's an incredible tool for writing fiction. You have to stop thinking of it as a game and start thinking of it as your own personal narrative engine, your own creative oracle. And to do that, you just need this one tiny but super important shift in your mindset. See, in role-playing, Mythic kind of pretends to be the game master, creating the story for you. But when you're writing, it's totally different. It acts as a creative partner, just bouncing ideas off of you. You're the one in charge, always. Mythic is just there to give you that little nudge, that spark. And I love how the source material describes this. It says, it's like a writer's workshop made of tables and dice. That just nails it, right? Instead of a group of people giving you feedback, you've got this system that's built to generate these surprising little prompts that can push your story in directions you never would have thought of. So what even is a narrative engine in this context? Well, it's pretty simple. It's a tool that churns out creative prompts. You get stuck, you ask your story a question, you roll a couple of dice, and the system might give you a simple yes or no, or maybe a random pair of words. Your job as the writer is to take that little spark and weave it into your story. All right, now we're getting to the absolute core of this whole thing. The single most important idea you need to grab onto is this. Mythic's output is not an answer that you have to follow. It's a creative prompt. That's it. That's the secret sauce. Let's walk through an example from the article. Say your main character is a paladin, and she meets a farmer on the road. You have no idea what the farmer says. You're stuck. So you turn to Mythic, you roll the dice, and it gives you two words, simple and judgmental. Okay, you could have him just grunt something mean and move on, scene over. But what if you treat simple and judgmental as the theme for an entire scene? You don't just take it at face value. You start asking questions. Why is this farmer so judgmental? What's his history with warriors like this paladin? This is where the real magic starts to happen. And check out how this expands. Suddenly you're picturing the farmer pointing out axe marks on trees or scorch marks on a fence post from some old battle. He's talking about the suffering that men in armor have caused his family. And just like that, you have a deep, meaningful dialogue. You understand the farmer's personal anger, and maybe the scene even ends with him offering help in a way you never expected. All of that from just two little words. Okay, so what do you do when that first jolt of inspiration from a prompt starts to fade? Well, you can take it even further with a concept that gamers will know well, the rule of cool. The rule of cool is basically your official license to get creative. Once you've written down the first, most obvious interpretation of a prompt, you just keep going. You follow any awesome, interesting, or just plain cool idea that pops into your head. The prompt is the launch pad, not the cage. So this sets up a really simple but really powerful creative loop. You get a prompt from Mythic, you write what you immediately think of, then you just keep writing, following any of those new cool ideas that show up. You only go back to the dice when you feel your creative well running dry and you need another spark. So let's see this in action. The article has this great example. You start with a vague idea, sci-fi on a starship. The prompts, triumph and weather, and create and comfort, get interpreted as a luxury cruise liner that gets hammered by a solar storm. Then for your hero, you get warrior and innocent. Boom. Now you have a security guard, Krenna, who's in way over her head, trying to protect all these terrified passengers. You see? In just a few minutes, a whole story concept is born. But Mythic isn't just for getting started. It's also an incredible tool for shaking things up when your plot starts to feel a little boring or predictable. It actually has specific tools built in just for dropping in major plot twists. And for that, the system has this special table called narrative nudges. This isn't for small stuff like what a character says next. No, this table is designed to create big story-level changes. This is how you introduce those moments that make a reader gasp. And you've got options for how you want to shake things up. A narrative shifting event might reveal that one of the passengers is actually a spy. A mystery question could introduce something like, where did that spy's secret message disappear to? Or sometimes it's as simple as an NPC, a side character, doing something completely out of character that changes everything. The most dramatic one of these, though, is the narrative twist. This is where you flip the whole table and reverse something that you and the reader thought was a fact. The article's example is just perfect. You're on an airship that's being sabotaged. The friendly captain has been helping you hunt for the culprit, and then he pulls a gun on you. He was the bad guy the whole time. It's such a powerful way to create those unforgettable story moments. So as we start to wrap this up, the big thing to remember, the whole philosophy behind this, is that this isn't about letting dice tell you what to write. Not at all. It's about using them to set your own creativity, your own imagination free. Always, always, always remember, inspiration overrules. Mythic isn't a strict rulebook you have to obey. It's a flexible engine designed to get you into a creative flow and keep you there. If a role gives you an idea, but that idea sparks an even better idea in your head, go with your idea every single time. The goal is to write a great story, not to follow the dice perfectly. When you start thinking of these tools as prompts, not answers, when you put your own inspiration first, you can turn this simple little system of tables and dice into a literally endless source of creativity. It's a way to make sure that you never have to face that scary blank page all by yourself ever again. So the only question left is, what story is waiting inside your dice?